up, guys? This is Bskull to you from Club 34 HQ, aka my house. So anyway, I'm just wanting to come on live to actually get y'all to know me a little bit better and actually what I'm going to do here with Onverse and Club 34 Enterprises, and what I'm basically setting out my goals for this year. So first off, before I get to some of the questions I asked some of the people I know, know a lot about Onverse, to ask me and figure out to ask me, I wanted to, just give you all a little bit of update. This year, last year, Club 34 has gone through a lot. We went from, just being a small little club to a Shark Tank. We eventually brought in thousands and thousands of CC items, cost of CC items, and we put it into that club. We basically just made a hub of excitement. So many things going on at one time. That did cause lags for some people, but not most. So many things going on at one time, so many things to do, so much excitement and exploring things that weren't supposed to be in certain places, but you could do that because that's what Club 34 is all about. It's supposed to be thinking outside the box. And eventually we evolved into, making new projects, like trying to make the tallest buildings in Onverse with the Galactic Eagle Resort and Spa. But we realized, we were going too tall, and so it didn't work. So we started expanding. But from that, we had to create Club 34 Enterprises because we had to put multiple organizations under one big mega organization, and that was Club 34 Enterprises. So anyway, what is the goal of Club 34 Enterprises? The best way to describe it is we want players to players are involved, but just in a different way. They rely on the staff of Onverse mainly to make all these activities for them. And Onverse at this moment can only give so much. So what we set out to do is create more of a spark to make even bigger player events, to show players that, hey, you can go and build this event and make it successful. People didn't think that we'd be able to get 20 people at Club 34. Oh, we got 30. They didn't think we could get. They didn't think we could get that far. Oh, 30. You just got lucky that day. Well, the next week we get 40, 50, 59 people. It's the max amount of people we've ever had in Club 34. By the way, 59 people. So we're breaking the rules of what used to be possible in Onverse. And that's what we're really trying to do. Is we're trying to break the. We're trying to remake the role of the player in Onverse, because Onverse is more of a not a corporate environment where people are all on a board in one corporate building making the decisions for the game, like Pirates of the Caribbean Online, where all you do is play and you don't have really much input on what happens to the game. You're just like, I'm hoping they're going to make this quest better at the corporate table from people that don't even play the game. But Onverse has a different point of view where we tell them what we want in the game, and they do it. So, anyway. So, I'm not trying to guide bash. I'm not trying to replace the guide team. I'm not trying to do anything like that. This is all for the better of Onverse, and the guide team does a pretty good job of that. So, I'm not against them. I'm actually trying to work side by side with them, but some of the guys don't think, how can you work side by side with us when you're not in the backgrounds doing this? Some of them don't realize I do most of the stuff they do in real life, and also I'm a moderator equivalent on another game called Superstar Speed Racer, which I do every day. So, anyway. Tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a mover and groover. If something's denied, like if I'm denied something, I will pursue every avenue to, go up to the equivalent of making that happen. So I tried being a guide, but so far I'm not. So this is what I'm going to do for now. So I'm going to pursue every avenue to do just as much as, being a guide. And I think the equivalent of what I've done goes up to what I would have done as a guide. Now my next step obviously is to become a guide. And I think I can really help Omverse doing that because, again, I do this in everyday life. I do summer camp, special kids and people of many different ages or age groups all the way up to 13. I'm school leader and everything, JROTC. So I'm out there to help people, to guide them. And when I first came on Omverse, it was a mind-blowing experience because I was like, oh, holy crud, what do I do? I don't have anybody really directing me on, oh, you have to go complete this task, you have to go complete this task. So it was kind of hard for me to transform from that directive, scene of a game to more open. So I didn't have to go do one thing. I could go do my own thing. So, I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody. So anyway, now for the questions. Let's see, Within asks, how much money do you plan on putting into Club 34? Well, I've actually counted up the money so far, the estimate of how much I've put into Club 34 and all this. And it comes out, not counting me being VIP, it comes out to be a little over $500. I just know because the amount of money I make, I put a certain amount of my paychecks to this. And so far we've spent a little over that, not counting the recent stuff we've done. But our budget of this year currently is around $120 a month that we can pump into Club 34 Enterprises. And that money splits up into game prizes, into building, construction, making new lots, making new games, everything, and adding more things to Club 34. So we're lessening the amounts that we're going to be giving out to our events. We recently found out we can start giving out virtual codes that we can get digitally delivered of $5 and Ultimate Game Card value. We can give out that instead of giving out $20, which was really draining us, because we can only do one event. And so anyway, we're trying to make it to where we can have about 2 events every week, 4 events every 2 weeks, to simplify that a little bit more. Skylar asked, what gave you the idea of creating Club 34? First, the whole thing of making players, ultimately having more independence and making their own things in Omverse came a little bit later from what originally Club 34 was originally about, but that idea came later. The original dream was I had to find my niche in Omverse, and I found a pretty good niche actually. I think of myself as the true party guy. People have called me that all the time. I have one of the guys once, after I was doing a bunch of shouts, he's like, dude, you are the party guy, because this was the 4th party that I had during one day, and each party had 40 people going to them. So he was like, you're just the party guy. So my original idea was to find a niche, and as I said in the first Club 34 description, I'm looking over there on my computer, and as I said on my first Club 34 description, it was to transform the club experience at Omverse. You had the Shark Tank, but barely anything changed. Well, nothing changed really ever since I've been there, except the location and the VIP room, which is not that big of a change to me because personally only VIPs can go in there, and every single time I'm going in there, every single time I'm the only person in there, and I cannot get even one person into there. I'm like, hey, party in the VIP area, but I'm like, nobody comes. Like, nobody even answers my shout, and I just don't get the whole VIP room. I mean, I get how they were trying to give us, a little bit more benefits, but come on. So, people would have parties at their house, but, they would have, their Tuscan house or their moon plot, but no music, and that was a big factor that I was really looking for when originally making Club 34. And they only spent, 500cc on lights, which was, a disco ball, some cool looking lights, maybe what looked like to be a bar, some drinks, and a dance floor that you could only find at Textronics, which was rarely there at the Asian Moon. So, yeah, I wanted to create a place that put everything together, and all the amazing lights and amazing cool fun things into one spot, and that really worked out. So our next question is from Never Discovered. How has Bskull Ambrose made the Ambrose experience better? I was thinking about that question, and I was like, I can't answer this myself. I mean, like, no. So I asked a good friend again, Skylar. She was the only person that really responded from the 4 people that I sent it to. So let me go over here real quick, type in my password on the computer, and look to see what she sent me. Okay, this is exact words from Skylar. Okay, so the answer to that question that she had, well, the club has changed my whole view of Ambrose because I feel I am a part of something more than just a player. So see, we've already answered our second goal, and I think it's a great way for other players to have fun and just to hang out. So there's probably a little bit more that I've done. I know a couple ways that I've really changed on versus really ruffled the feathers of the guide team every now and then. Got into heat with them a couple of times, but I try to work it out with them, because you don't want to fight the guide team, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And my computer automatically logged out. I hate that thing. Okay, so we're wanting to put in more lots, more money. We're wanting to up how much we spend on Ambrose to about $200 a month, which is very feasible, considering what I do. I design things and I do a lot of photography, so I get a lot of money from that. About $900 per photography gig, so I get quite a few. So it's not that hard to pour some money into this game. And one last thing, Ambrose, when y'all say y'all are bored or shouts, you know what, I'm not going to talk about that. By the way, another thing, I'm going to show y'all where this all happens, where Club 34 was first pretty much made on the computer, and this is going to show you things from my point of view. So here we go.
Okay, so it's my login screen.